Do you support the right of a woman who is just seconds away from birthing a healthy child to have an abortion?
I think that the question that you're asking does not realistically reflect abortion care.
In that scenario, would you support her right to abort that child?
I won't entertain theoreticals.
It's not a theoretical, ma'am. You're a medical doctor.
I am a medical doctor, and that has never happened.
Welcome back to Morning Joe. That was Dr. Yashica Robinson in a widely seen exchange with future House Speaker Mike Johnson during a 2022 House Judiciary Committee hearing about abortion access. Dr. Robinson, one of the few black doctors in the South who both provides abortions and delivers babies, is one of 5 women featured in a new book about pregnancy in America. From Dr. Robinson's journey, a teen mom who rose from poverty to become a physician, to a woman who named Haley Burns, who was forced to sleep on a jail floor still bleeding after giving birth. The book is titled Unbearable: 5 Women and the Perils of Pregnancy in America, and it reveals how the erosion of reproductive freedom has made pregnancy dangerous for everyone, regardless of their circumstances. Its author is Irin Carmon. She's also a senior correspondent at New York Magazine, and she joins us now. Contributing writer to the New York Times, Molly Jong-Fast, also joins us for this discussion. Irin, congratulations on the book. It is beautiful, and it's also kind of hard to read at times because of the stories that you tell in there. It's the story of America's broken reproductive system through the lives of 5 women. Can you talk about how you decided what stories to tell and what those experiences should reveal that data or policy debate simply fall short of?
Thank you so much, Ellie. You know, as hard as it is to see the truth of the injustices in this country, I think there's also a story of hope in this book that's exemplified by Dr. Robinson. When abortion was banned, thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court, she kept on showing up for her patients and has been fighting to open up a birth center in Alabama, which has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country. I chose these women because their stories, they're based in New York City and in Alabama, show an incredible range of pregnancy experience in aspects that we consider usually to be separate, right? Infertility, miscarriage, abortion, birth, prenatal care, drug addiction. But in fact, all of these are deeply connected by a system that punishes us when we fall outside of the rules or when we're perceived to fall outside of the rules when we're pregnant. Becoming pregnant in this country can often mean losing your constitutional rights, losing your right over your body. And these are women who in many cases wanted to be pregnant and found themselves punished by the system. But ultimately, people like Dr. Robinson, and I also write about a man, Jose Perez, who lost his wife in childbirth, give me hope because they're really fighting to make the system better.
You know, Irin, you and I have known each other a really long time. You've covered reproductive health care. We've done it together, frankly, for almost a decade. The fact that you're writing this book post-Roe, post the Dobbs decision, the fact that during that time you yourself found out you were pregnant with a child you very much wanted. Can you talk about all of the paradoxes that are innate in your experience, that are innate in the experiences of the people that you write about in your book, and just what it was to be reporting this post-Dobbs? What shocked you the most as someone who has been reporting on this for a decade plus?
You know, Allie, it's so funny. I was about to go live here at MSNBC with our friend Chris Hayes when the Supreme Court leak happened of the Dobbs decision. Literally, we were in the commercial break reacting in real time, and I was 6 months pregnant. And I felt in my bones that this is such an enormous, dramatic, transformative change in your life, regardless of how you feel about your pregnancy. And it's something that should not be imposed on anybody against their will. And it's something where people deserve the best possible care and respect for their decisions. And so I think that for me, having covered this for 15 years and then living it at the same time that the Supreme Court was narrowly contracting women's rights, it made me passionate about writing about what's wrong and also what we can do to make things better.
You know, what's so interesting about this story is that, what I so appreciate about this book is that you go from a southern state, right, Alabama, where you think as a northerner, right, as a coastal elitist, you would think they would have problems there with women's health care, to New York City, which is a place where both of us have been pregnant multiple times. And you should, you would think it would be like Europe. It would be this sort of elite. But in fact, you found some statistics that are, I think, kind of breathtaking about how dangerous it is to be pregnant in New York if you are a Black woman. And I'd love you to talk about the innate racism, I think, for lack of a more specific word, in our what we're seeing in prenatal, postnatal care.
Absolutely. Well, as we know, the U.S. already has an unforgivably high rate of maternal mortality compared to other countries. But for Black women, that rate is dramatically higher. And at most years, it's a roughly 4 times higher for Black women, the chance of dying around pregnancy and childbirth across the United States. But during the events that I wrote about in my book, here in New York City, Black women were 12 times likelier to die in childbirth. And so it was really important to me to do some investigative reporting about what it is that makes New York City the wealthiest city, full of progressive rules and a haven for people seeking abortion. Why is it so unsafe for Black women to give birth here? One of the women that I write about, Christine Fields, suffered a completely preventable tragedy, a tragic loss of her life. And her husband, Jose Perez, has become a really inspiring maternal health advocate in the wake of that. And I investigate how it is that the hospital in her own community failed her so deeply. And I also write about another woman, Maggie, a white woman who experienced something tragically similar. Unfortunately, a pattern of disinvestment and inequality in public hospitals has helped create these gaps.
Erin, it's a really beautiful book. It's called Unbearable: 5 Women and the Perils of Pregnancy in America. It comes out tomorrow. You can still pre-order it today, but you can definitely get it tomorrow in bookstores. Author Erin Carmon, thank you so much for coming on and for doing this really important work.
Thank you.